morning, folks. It's another episode of the Gary and Mark Show, and I'm Gary.
And I am Mark.
And we're coming to you, not live.
But we are alive.
We're alive.
Indeed.
And Zooming.
And Zooming one more time. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And some people watching on YouTube, we hear, so that's good. And if you're doing one or the other, you may want to check the other one out. So you never know. So, Gary, we do have a couple shout outs today.
Okay.
First is we're going to shout out to all our listeners and viewers to the Gary and Mark podcast, because we have gone over 10,000 podcast downloads.
Really?
Really, in under 12 months.
Wow.
That, to me, that's a huge milestone. So
we only need like 40 more million to kind of threaten the Kardashians.
That is true.
Yeah.
And we might get there. They're younger, but
if we have to do a sex tape to do it, I'm not going to do it.
I was just going to say, when you said that, I said, whoa, you're leaving me out of this. But okay.
We're not doing that.
No, we can call up our friend Chris Peters, making my glasses steam up here. Just thinking
we have standards.
We do have standards. And we have another shout out. One of our listeners, a guy I know named Rich Bauer, is retired from work just recently, and he's taking care of his 5-year-old granddaughter, and he is her kindergarten teacher since they're all learning from home. And so he had a joke he ran by this 5-year-old, and he thought we might enjoy it. And it goes, "Did you hear about the lady who was so excited about spring that she wet her plants?" Her plants. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think a 5-year-old would enjoy that. I know 5th graders would enjoy that.
We're a 70-year-old. I wet my plants.
There you go. There you go. We've had enough rain lately that they're getting wet on their own. And here's another joke. He didn't send this one, but I hate it when I see an old person and then realize we went to high school together.
Yeah.
Have you been to one of your reunions ever?
I've been to 2 of them, and both of them had a lot of old people.
That's right. Did you recognize them at all?
We had the pictures from the yearbook cut out to wear, and we had name tags in big letters with our names.
Well, I have not yet been to one. My 50th would have been this year, except I don't think they're having it this year. I haven't heard anything. So you just at 70 years old, just Gary here, just came back from how many day backpacking trip?
5 days in the Smokies.
Wow. And did you see other people? I mean, I know they're open,
we did. Day one, walking in the rain up Nolan Creek. Didn't really see anybody, only people at our campsite. Saw some other couple of fellas go by. And then the next day, a couple, I'm guessing in their 50s, took a trail. They walked past us. And then I think day 3, we moved to a different campsite. We were the only ones there. And then 4 guys who had been classmates at University of Maryland showed up, and folks were good about nobody's wearing a mask, but they're kind of staying at a distance, and then a lady comes walking in. I bet she wasn't even 5 feet tall and 100 pounds. Wow. Whose trail name Denali. She was hiking the Benton Mackay Trail. She is through hike the Appalachian Trail
already. Wow.
Already. And really reminded me of a sort of a monk or a pilgrim, because she didn't have a stove.
Yeah. If I went, I think I'd have to leave it. I just looked at stuff you were carrying with you, laid out Colin Fletcher style. And I was saying, oh my gosh, that's a lot of stuff.
Well, her pack, only 20 pounds, no stove. I mean, she was eating for dinner cold oatmeal, and not much, but she was wearing a skirt, a Light Heart gear, and that's a gear manufacturing company in Fletcher, North Carolina, that makes ultralight gear. She was wearing one of their skirts, so I got a picture of it, and I sent it to Judy Gross, who is the founder and owner of Lightheart Gear. And
I have to look them up. Well, how many years ago did she do her AT through hike? Do you remember?
I think that was 06.
Wow. Okay. So what age was she?
Well, I mean, I didn't ask her how old she is.
Good.
But she's through hiked the Florida Trail. There's a trail that kind of connects where the AT stops. It takes you all the way down the East Coast, and also extends from Katahdin up into Canada. And I mean, she's done that.
Wow. Goodness.
She's a trail maintainer with the Florida Trail Association, lives in Gainesville. But
good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
I was just blown away. And then the next night, at our final campsite, we run into, there's two couples, an older couple, and then when I say older, younger than me, but then a younger couple, I'm guessing in their 20s, and they introduced themselves as Turtle and Willow and Big Red. And then when it got to the young woman of the younger couple, she just goes, "I'm Ashley." I mean, I don't think she'd quite bought into the whole trail.
They probably all had a name for her, but
I don't know.
Yeah. So, well, that's good for you and good for all those people to get out there. So,
then walking out, I mean, we had rain a lot of days.
I bet.
A couple of nights we didn't have rain and had wonderful firefly show and serenaded before it got dark, by the wood thrushes. But day 5, walking out to Deep Creek, the closer you got to the parking lot, more and more people, a lot of tubers. I didn't see a mask on anybody, and folks were packing pretty tight.
Yeah, I know Deep Creek area. So,
yeah.
So for people who might be on the West Coast or something, when Gary says Smokies, he means Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
Yeah.
Crossing the Tennessee, North Carolina border. So beautiful spot up there. And they just recently reopened. So you were, yeah. So, and I read other parts are following suit bit by bit. Well, anyhow, it's June 1 when this posts. So what's going on in history June 1?
Okay, well, I got a lot of things, but we'll just hit on a few of them. How about, and how they came up with this on June 1, 1215, Genghis Khan, he occupied Beijing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't called Beijing then, was it?
Well, it had a different name, but I'd be afraid to try to pronounce it or spell it. 1495. A monk named John Cox records the first known batch of Scotch whiskey.
How about that?
Yeah. On this day in 1779, Benedict Arnold was court-martialed in absentia since he'd already gone over to the other side. 1792, Kentucky admitted.
Okay.
Yeah, my home state.
Yeah.
And then 1796, Tennessee admitted.
Okay.
And then let's jump to 1974, the Heimlich maneuver, to get you published in Emergency Medicine.
1974. Seems like I've heard of that forever, but maybe I was getting out of college and maybe that was, brand new. Wow.
1990, Bush won and Gorbachev signed a treaty to end the making of chemical weapons.
Well, I hope that treaty is still holding, but you never know these days. Yeah.
And then on this day in 2009, General Motors filed for bankruptcy.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. 2009 during the Great Recession. Yeah. Well, those are some big dates.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Gary, our historian. We've got a guest today. We do, but we haven't. I'm not sure exactly who it is. We're going to call over to the dollar store in
Oh,
Watershed
okay.
and see if we can get the clerk on the line. So you ready? Let me see
Yeah,
my.
I think. Yeah, I haven't heard what's going on in Watershed.
We haven't
So,
been there in a while. I know we
yeah.
need to get back. So let's try to get the clerk in. All right. So we're giving her a call or him a call.
Uh-huh.
It's ringing now. Okay. And looks like she's trying to come online.
What?
Oh my gosh.
What?
I thought we were calling the dollar store. She can't hear
Yeah.
us yet. Yeah, she looked. It says, oh my gosh. It says Dee Dee on my screen. I'm not sure if you see that. Dollar store in Watershed, is it?
No, I'm at home right now. I just got off a shift, as a matter of fact.
Well, you look a lot like someone else we had on not too long ago. You're not Dee Dee, are you?
Of course I'm Dee Dee. You don't recognize me?
Well, Gary, you better speak.
So
my,
you're working at the dollar store?
Well, yeah, I mean, it hadn't been my intention, but after you offered me that job as campus security,
yeah, what happened to that, Gary? You better, yeah. So what happened to that job, Gary?
Well, what I heard happened was that the screening, everybody had to have their temperature taken. And they said that Dee Dee, the only thermometer she had was a rectal thermometer. And nobody wanted to go for that. So that's the last I heard. So it was hard to get clients.
you'd instructed me to keep the campus safe, didn't you?
That's true. I did.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
yeah.
that was
So,
kind of a bust. I happened to be down there at the dollar store, and there was a little dust up over a box of crayons. Some grandpas was fighting over it, and I took care of things before the cops got there, and the manager just asked me, did I want a job? I said, sure.
well, that's good. Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's the way to get one. I'm just, it's probably a good thing they don't do a background check, do you think, on their employees?
I don't have a record.
Well, that's
Well,
good. Neither does Gary's or
and I
me.
bet you provide security.
Yeah.
Oh,
I bet shoplifting goes down.
oh yeah, and then the masks go up.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So, how long have you had this job?
Oh, it has not been long now. Couple weeks. Just it's just kind of a lark. Puts a little fold money in my pocket.
So, does your store have toilet paper or not?
Nah,
Really?
we're out.
Because we once had this Gary and Mark show incentive going on that we were sending people to the Watershed Dollar Store, and if they just mentioned the show, the clerk would reach underneath the counter and hand them a roll of toilet paper. But I
Well,
guess maybe we had
ain't
too many fans took advantage of that, or they just stopped coming. I don't know.
yeah, they're not any on the shelf now. There might be some behind the counter, but there's none on the shelf.
What about in the employee bathroom? You got some back there?
I hadn't been in there. I ain't using a public bathroom. I don't care how bad I got to go. There's a great outdoors right around the corner. I'll be using that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Gary, he's used to that. He just came from a 5-day backpacking trip. So you didn't have any privies out there, did you, Gary, or did you on the trail shelters?
Oh, no.
Nope. So yeah, you're used to that.
Find your spot away from the trail.
Mark your territory.
That's right.
Yeah.
So how's things going down in Watershed? We haven't actually been there lately because of this COVID-19.
It's been pretty quiet. Most people are being smart, staying home. People come in the store, of course. trying to get their toiletries and whatnot. We do have a nice round of craft supplies for all the kiddies and people at home who like to doodle, whatever. Uh, we got socks.
That's good.
Yeah.
Socks are good.
Underwear's good.
Yeah.
Do you have a stash of Depends, undergarments for old people?
Personally or at the store?
I was thinking at the store. I wasn't going into your personal life.
I mean, they get stuff in, the truck rolls around about twice a week and we get what we get, Some of the stuff looks pretty banged up. I reckon that's why it's at the dollar store and not at the regular store.
Yeah, so is it true at dollar stores that they put out expired items or almost expired and that's why it's cheap, or is that not true?
Probably true. I don't spend a lot of time looking at the fine print on bottles and stuff. I'm too busy, looking for somebody's head to bash in.
Yeah. Is that, yeah.
So what's the protocol when they come in? Do they have to have a mask?
Absolutely. I'm standing right there to make sure you don't got a mask. You ain't got to ask. If you can come in, you can turn around and go right back out the door.
Wow.
So now I think with Dee Dee there, that would not be an issue. They would either turn around or put one on. But, we've read about some stores that have had downright fights and shootings over masks.
Yeah, there ain't going to be none of that up in our dollar store.
That's good. That's why people like Watershed.
Mm-hmm. We're a peaceful bunch for the most part.
So when they come in looking for toilet paper and you don't have any, what kind of an alternative do you have there that they go for? You got any Kleenex?
No, we don't have much in the paper goods. If you're super desperate, you could buy a 12-pack of socks, I guess.
Yeah. Would you wash them and reuse them or just throw them away? I mean, how cheap are they?
What happens to those socks after they leave the store is none of my business. I don't even know what you're doing with them,
The don't ask, don't tell about socks. Well, what about y'all have some fresh produce out front? I mean, corn? Corn?
It's a little early.
Sure. Oh, you about corn cobs for toilet paper, you mean, Gary?
Sure.
Yeah, well.
Oh, someone likes it rough.
So, do you sell beer at that dollar store? I know some places have some.
Well, it's not something we usually put out on the floor. We kind of hold that back for the employees, but we're not going to talk about that much.
Yeah, so
here, you can go up to one of the quickie shops and get something like that.
So when the manager hired you, did he offer you any advancement opportunities, or is security and the main thing for you, do you think?
Well, the manager is a woman, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
And, yeah. And she's going to let me do whatever I want.
Meaning whether she wants to or not, or that's just she's ready for you to do whatever you want?
I think I proved my worth in the first week to the extent where I reckon if I wanted her job, I could have it. So I think she's going to be nice to me.
Well, have you ever had a job like that, Gary, where the head guy said you do whatever you want?
I'm not sure. No, I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't. Me either. Dee Dee's in the driver's seat.
So, do you do everything from making out the bank deposits and the whole handling all the money and?
No, I don't get near the registers or nothing. I'm just keeping an eye out.
Yeah.
Do they have a security system, or is it just you? I mean, do they have secret cameras and all that stuff?
What do you mean, just me?
Well, I mean, are you all they need? I mean,
yeah, that's all they need.
Yeah.
I mean, we're normally, like I said, a peaceable little town, but once them grandpas started fighting, somebody had to break it up and, the popo is kind of slow to come sometimes over there in Watershed.
Yeah.
I think it was donut day, so they wasn't in any hurry to come our way.
Yeah, well, I haven't had any of those donuts there in quite some time, but I don't think they're come from a local bakery. I don't know.
Now we do sell some donuts up there in the dollar store. The kind in the little bag that covered in powder.
I love those things. Those
Yeah,
white powder donuts.
you got to
Yeah.
be careful when you eat them though, because if you breathe in at the wrong time, you're liable to die.
You ever had those, Gary? Those white powdered covered donuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of looks like cocaine.
Well, I wouldn't
How
know.
do you know that,
That's what
Gary?
I'm saying. I wouldn't know.
Well,
Gary doesn't know.
I
He's
just
heard.
from what I've seen in shows.
That's right. Movies and things.
Right.
Yeah. So when you're not at the dollar store and taking care of your chickens at home, I hadn't heard them today. You still riding that bike?
Oh yeah, I rode my bike to work and back today. I ride every day. It don't matter what the weather is. I'm on that thing. That's my best friend.
Do you have a truck or a car or something else, or is that it?
Well, I do have a beater of a truck. I mean, you got to have something to pick up the chicken feed and stuff in, but
That's true. It'd be hard to put on the back of a
yeah, and
hog.
it's tough when it gets to snowing up there in the Watershed. I mean, it's not the cold that bothers me so much, but the black ice on the bike don't mix good.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. You ever had a bad wreck on that bike or a bike?
I've laid it down a couple times, yeah, but I wear my leathers and I got some body armor. I try and protect it up, but it's just part of the fun.
I guess. And Gary, you've never ridden a bike, have you?
I got on a dirt bike at my cousin's farm in Texas years ago, and decided that it would probably be an activity I should avoid.
Ditto. My brothers both had a bike at one time or other, but yeah, I'm too timid. So I don't know how Dee Dee got over her timidness, but she definitely has none.
There was nothing to get over.
That's true. You're born that way. Yeah. So I don't know. Dee Dee hasn't heard my story about my birth. You remember, Gary, about the trauma my mama went through when I was born?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Dee Dee, you might be interested in knowing that when I was born, sad story, but you appreciate it because you like sad stories, I think. The doctor delivered me and he took one look at my head and one look at my butt, handed me to my mama and said, "Oh, look, you've got twins." Isn't that sad?
That can't be for real. Are you serious?
That's what I was told. That's what I was told all these years. Sad. I've gotten over it now. I don't care now. I didn't care much back when I was 8.
It sounds like you might still be a little bit stung by that story.
I get over it. There's worse things to worry about, like not wearing a mask into the Watershed dollar store. That would be, that would scare me. I'm glad you said that. I wear my mask when I'm out.
You best.
Yep.
I mean, it ain't got to be complicated. You see, I'm just wearing a bandana. I just pull it up. That's all you got to do. You don't have to have some fancy kind of like hospital equipment. Look at here.
There's Gary's got one. I don't have one handy, but I got them in the car, brand new ones. Don't have any in.
Did you sew that yourself?
What's that?
Did you sew that up yourself?
No, my wife sewed that.
Hold that up and let's get a better look at that. That's got in front of that. You said that was a lion of some sort. Oh, I see it. Yeah. Are those elastic straps?
Well, they are, and then they ran out of elastic, so she started finding, little scraps of things to use. But
I like that.
Yeah.
But you have more than one, don't you? I mean, that's not.
Oh, we got a handful.
So
we wear them a day and then put them in the wash. And
does she has a sewing machine or did that by hand?
Well, the sewing machine didn't work for 20 years.
Okay.
And although she's generally a mild-mannered human, I'd have to say back when the sewing machine did work, she would, it produced more cussing than I've ever heard from her. And then when the said got to start wearing masks, she decided maybe I ought to see if I can sew a mask. And sewing machine didn't work, and there's a fella up in Leicester who repairs them. And so we got it repaired. And
so when she was sewing the other day or other days, did you hear any cursing still, or is that?
No, I mean, she's got this mask thing down pretty good.
Okay, she could start mass producing them and making some money for you guys.
We passed them out to friends, and
okay.
Yeah.
So Dee Dee just wears those bandanas.
Well, that's pretty badass bandana she's got.
That is on her head and around her neck for her mouth.
Yeah.
So
back up.
Is that a feather behind you? I keep looking back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple of hawk feathers up there. I found them on the ground. I know it's illegal to hurt a raptor in this state, but I consider it good luck if you find a hawk feather. And I reckon the one in the middle there, that might just be an old turkey buzzard or a crow or something. But you know, I like my feather.
Does hawks ever go after your chickens, or is that just the coyotes?
No, the hawks try. They fly overhead, and everybody runs up under bush and hides. And
really,
yeah, I don't cut some. There are a couple of bushes in my yard to keep nice and fluffy, so they got somewhere to run up under there and knock their knees together for a while.
So how many acres is your spread?
Oh, I reckon it's 9 or 10.
Okay, that's good. Good. Yeah. And you got a couple horses, don't you?
I do.
You ride them, or are they just looking at horses?
Right now, they're looking at horses. I'm too busy riding my hog to ride a horse. But they sure are sweet, and I have to confess that I got a fondness for them.
Well, that's good. And if we got to where there was no gas or anything, you could ride those horses.
That's true.
Fertilizer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I got fertilizer for days, but I tell you what, gas prices are nice and low right now, and my hog doesn't take a lot of juice, so I can ride for a long time. As a matter of fact, I swung up there from Watershed to Hendersonville, just checking on Gary's place the other day.
See, Gary, you better. She knows where you live.
I know.
So, how was this place?
He's doing all right. He's keeping it up.
Keeping it up.
So, Gary, when you hear a hog noise out in the driveway, you kind of run in the back and hide, or you just, what do you do?
No comment.
No comment.
No comment.
Well, when I hear one, I go hide. Make sure the doors are locked. Yeah. So, Dee Dee, any advice for people out on the streets today in town and Watershed or anywhere you can give them?
Wear your mask. Wash hands, and better yet, don't even be on the street in Watershed. Go home. Go home. You ain't got to be out here.
That's true.
Now, when folks do come in the store, what's the thing that they kind of are getting the most of? Is there one product?
A lot of them looking for cleaning supplies, soap and shampoo, stuff like that. A lot of them ask if we got the toilet paper, paper towels, napkins. They want baby wipes. They want mostly that stuff. There's a couple people who come and they just try to wander the store, but I'll stand nearby and give them a look that says, you need to just do what you came to do and get on out of here. We're not here for your entertainment. We're not an amusement park for you to just stroll around for a couple hours. You need to get what you came for, pay for it, skedaddle.
So, in Watershed, the dollar store is like an entire mall to people.
That's right.
Yeah, they don't get out much, so I could see it being entertainment for them.
And, we've started getting in some of the things that people like for the summer, little kiddie pools and bubbles for the kids. Uh, but people should not be dragging the whole family down to the dollar store or anywhere to shop. That's another thing I'm trying to enforce is one cart, one person. You just don't need to bring grandma and the children and your neighbors all along with you. You can shop for other people. You don't need to bring them with you. We're not daycare.
That's good point. So,
So maybe keep a pen outside. They could stay in a pen.
Each family has to have a separate pen, though, right?
I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
how about we just call their pen "Stay Home"? Just stay home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Home.
So, are you still interested in the job at the Gary and Mark Podcasting University of Security, head of security, or?
I mean, if Gary wouldn't be so scared to meet with me and go over the details, I got the time, but Gary don't seem to want to, nail down any of the details.
You got any details in mind, Gary? Sometimes we're kind of slack on those kind of things, like requirements to get into university. We're going to have some requirements. We decided, why bother? So is that the same as for the job, Gary?
Well, we kind of decided that maybe first, before we start talking about classes, we get the important stuff, like stuff for the bookstore.
And Dee Dee could supply that,
Yeah, pens, pencils, mugs.
Important stuff.
Sippy cups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dee Dee could run the store.
That's right.
Well, I'm not so interested in the financial side of things. I just like the head busting side of things.
Well, it works well because we don't have much finances going on anywhere. So, although if people wanted to contribute to the show to keep it on, they certainly can at www.garyandmark.com. And we get none of that, do we, Gary?
And, no, I haven't seen any.
I haven't seen any of it. And we're going to give Dee the same amount, too. We already talked about that. Yeah, 0.
But I did get my stimulus check.
Got it in a minute. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm waiting for the next one. Did you get one, Dee Dee, or are you not on the rolls?
The university hasn't gotten one yet.
No.
So,
Dee Dee, you're going to get one?
I don't know. I don't think they know where I live. That's okay with me.
Well, yeah, I could see that. But they do have the direct deposit. But if you haven't been dealing, it sounds like you haven't paid any taxes in a long time. You can have do you have a social security number, or we should not ask that?
Of course, I got when I was born, wasn't it?
Yeah, go ahead and give that to me now over the air here, because I need to write that down for your application. What's the next number? All right, better not. She's not human. Never mind. We'll get Gary's. Gary, what's your number? Write that down. No, don't give it to me. Don't give it to me. I am glad though that Social Security cards dropped the Social Security number. I mean, Medicare cards dropped Social Security number as the ID number. How stupid was that? That everybody's Medicare card had their Social Security number on it for everybody to see. When I was in college, your Social Security number was your student ID. Was yours that way, Gary?
I can't remember.
Well, I remember because that's how I memorized that number, because everything you did, you had to have that number. And I remember going to see your test scores. They'd post them on the door by these numbers, which were your Social Security numbers. And so your letter grade, I just go look for the F's, and that eliminate all the other numbers. That was easy, quick. I could usually find mine in a hurry. F's or D's. Hopefully my former students don't hear me say that. So, but that's the way it was.
Kind of ironic they call it Social Security when your number's out there for everybody to see.
That's true.
Yeah, it's social insecurity.
Yeah, there you go. And that's part of that job Dee Dee's going to do as head of school insecurity as well as security. Yeah. Well, you know what? We're glad we found Dee Dee. I'm glad she's employed. We weren't expecting.
What a surprise.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going to be one, answering the call at the dollar store. But it has been another good episode. I'm mentioning this only because I'm looking up here at the Zoom clock and it's cutting down to the last couple minutes or so. So we ought to thank our sponsors, Gary. Who do we got? You remember?
Oh, let's see. Of course, Big Whiz Pocket Buddy hadn't been used by anybody in a while, but we'll thank them.
Yep.
We got Rabbit Island Resorts.
We do. We got it.
COVID-19 free.
Absolutely. And we've got LJ Meyers and his professional White Dove releases, and also Green River Eddy's Tap Room at Saluda Outfitters.
Which might be opening soon.
You know, the store is open, and I notice they're having entertainment out there on their big deck, and it is a huge deck. So, I guess that means they're serving some taps because they're not considered a bar or a saloon or whatever that's not open in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I guess they get the opportunity to be there. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in, either podcast or YouTube. Thank Dee Dee for being with us again.
Yeah, what a surprise.
That was a surprise. You never know when she's going to show up. We hope, Dee Dee, we're going to have an anniversary show maybe for the next one and try to get a bunch of people to get online with us. Maybe you can be around.
Maybe by then we can get together.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
I'd be happy to meet some of these other jokers you guys operate around with.
Yeah, well, probably they're all jokers, yeah. Especially if they stick around with us. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm Mark.
I'm Gary.
I'm Dee Dee.
And there you go. This is the Gary and Mark Show. Well, thank you for being here. Look forward to being with you in another episode. And we are signing off.